capacity 1, they are called as monovalent. If they are having combining capacity 2, bivalent, trivalent and tetravalent, which is having an example of carbon. Now let us talk about the concept of variable valency. All these elements, they tend to complete their octet by accepting or donating electron, and that is why it is called as their valency. But what we see that phosphorus as well as sulfur, these elements, they show variable valency also. In case of phosphorus, which has electronic configuration as, so this is how we write phosphorus. This is the symbol, this is the atomic number, this is the mass number. That means it is having 15 electrons and 31 mass number. So if I write its electronic configuration, it will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p3. This is how these electrons, these 15 electrons are arranged. Now what we see here, that first shell has only one subshell, second shell has two subshells and third shell has three subshells. That means 3d is present, but it is having no electron in it. Now due to this vacant d subshell, what happens that this electron which is present in 3s2, it can jump to 3d subshell because difference in energy level of these two subshells is very low. Because of that, it attains the configuration like 3s1, 3p3 and 3d1. These shells, they remain same. Now in this case we can see that now they are having 5 unpaired electrons. These 5 unpaired electrons can form 5 bonds. That means it will show the valency of 5 also. That means that normally phosphorus has valency 3 because it is having 5 electrons in the outermost shell, and to complete its octet it needs 3 electrons. So that is why it tends to form p3 negative by accepting 3 electrons, and its valency is 3. And compounds like PCl3, which is called as phosphorus trichloride, is formed. But we see that it is able to form 5Cl5 also, that is phosphorus pentachloride. The reason for formation of 5 bonds lies in the reason that this 3s2 electron, it jumps to 3d subshell which is present, but initially it was vacant. Now because of that, now there are 5 unpaired electrons which can show valency 5. Such type of elements which show more than one type of valency, they are called as elements showing variable valency. So here in this we have discussed the example of phosphorus. So I hope you will be able to understand that why phosphorus is showing variable valency, that is 3 and 5. Similarly, in case of sulfur, now sulfur is symbol S, its mass number is 32 and atomic number is 16. If I write its configuration, then it will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p4. Now here again, third shell is having D subshell, but that is vacant. And because it is having 6 electrons in the outermost shell, so its valency is 2. Due to valency 2, it forms a compound H2S, that is hydrogen sulfide. Here sulfur is showing 2 valency because it has capacity to combine with 2 hydrogen, and we had discussed the definition of valency as that number of hydrogen atom that can combine with an element, that is also called as its valency. So valency of sulfur in H2S is 2. But not only 2, it can also form valency 4 and valency 6. Now reason is same as in this case. We saw that 3d orbital is 3d subshell is vacant, so because of that electron can jump to 3d subshell because energy difference between 3p 3d and 3s 3d is very less, so it forms 3s2. Now here it is 3p4, but the electrons they get unpaired and it forms configuration like this. Now it is having 4 unpaired electrons, so it shows valency 4. And compounds like SO2 is formed, that is sulfur dioxide. Now this electron can also shift to 3s1, 3p3 and 3d2. Now here all these electrons are unpaired, so its valency is 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is valency 6. And compounds like SO3 are formed. Now here again what we could see that phosphorus, it shows valency 3 and 5, and sulfur can show valency 2, 4 and 6. So both these elements, they are examples of variable valency. Now we are going to take another example, which is of nitrogen. Nitrogen also shows variable valency, but their reason is slightly different. Let us try to understand that how nitrogen shows variable valency like valency 3 and valency 4. Nitrogen can be written as N, atomic number 7, mass number 14. So its configuration will be 1s2, 2s2 and 2p3. So it is having only 2 shells, K shell and L shell. K shell can have 1 subshell and L can have 2 subshells. So there is no third shell present. So there is no question of having a empty subshell or shifting the electron from lower level to higher energy level. So in this case, because it is having 5 electrons in the outermost shell, so it is having 5 valence electrons. And these electrons, they are arranged as 2s2, that is a pair of electrons, and 3p3, that is 3 electrons, and these 3 electrons are unpaired. So because of that, its valency is 3, because to complete its octet, it will be requiring 3 electrons. So that is why its valency is 3. And it is seen in compounds like NH3, where nitrogen binds with 3 hydrogen atoms to form ammonia. But in case of NO2, we find that valency of oxygen is 2. So 2 oxygen atoms will be having valency 4. And these 4 valencies are satisfied by 1 nitrogen. So how nitrogen is having valency 4. The reason for this is that these two electrons which are present in 2s2, that is forming the lone pair. Now this lone pair of electrons in 2s2, they are donated to oxygen, and because of that one oxygen is bonded to it. That is why nitrogen is showing valency 4. So I hope that you would have understood that why there is difference in phosphorus, sulfur and nitrogen. Though all are showing variable valency, but the reason for showing this variable valency is different. In case of phosphorus and sulfur, it is because of the vacant orbital, whereas in case of nitrogen, it is because of presence of lone pair of electrons which can be donated to some other element to form an additional bond. So we have understood that an element can have some elements, they have only one valency, whereas some elements they have a tendency to show more than one valency, and hence they are said to be having variable valencies. So this was regarding the first 20 elements which we have already studied. If we go further, then in the periodic table we can see that certain other elements, they also show variable valency. In case of periodic table, we see that these elements which are placed in the D block, they are called as the transition elements. These transition elements, they have a more tendency to show variable valencies. So here elements like manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, these elements, silver, gold, they also show variable valencies. So those elements which show more than one valency, they will be called as variable valencies. Now here I have given you a chart of those elements which show variable valency and which are very commonly used in the chemical reactions. For example, copper, which shows valencies 1 and 2, silver, symbol Ag, having valency 1 and 2, mercury, Hg, valency having 1 and 2, iron, which shows valencies 2 and 3, tin 2 and 4, lead 2 and 4, and phosphorus and sulfur we have already discussed. These all elements, you see that they are showing two different valencies, and the name of the element is written as copper 1 or cuprous. So the lower valency of the element, it is named as OUS. So if copper is showing two valencies 1 and 2, so valency of copper as 1 will be named as cuprous, and valency of copper as 2 will be named as cupric, RIC. Similarly for silver, lower valency 1 is named as OUS, that is argentus, and higher valency is named as argentic. Similarly for mercury, lower valency 1 is OUS, higher valency 2 is IC. For iron, lower valency it is 2, but it is the lower valency, so it is named as OUS, and higher valency as IC. Similarly for lead, which is plumbous, that is OUS and IC. So this is a system of naming the valencies or indicating that in the compound which valency is being shown. Valency, if it is variable, in some cases it can be named as Roman numerals also given in the box bracket. So it may be named as cuprous or copper 1 or cupric and copper 2. This is the system of naming variable valences which you should remember. So in the name of the compound, sometimes you may see that it is written as iron 2 oxide or it may be written as ferrous oxide. But that will mean that here the iron is having valency 2. Similarly, if compound is named as iron 3 oxide or ferric oxide, it will mean that iron is having valency 3. So this is the system of naming that you must remember because we will be using them in our further study. I hope you will be able to remember all these variable valences as well as the symbol and the name of the element, and you have learned the system of naming which is called as the nomenclature. Nomenclature means system of naming. So in today's class we have studied about concept of cation and anion, concept of variable valency, and why phosphorus, sulfur and nitrogen, which are falling into first 20 elements, why they are showing variable valency. We have also taken some examples of the compound where we can see that they are giving variable valency. And in the latter part of the lesson, we have studied about other elements from periodic table which show variable valency. We have also studied the system of nomenclature as they are being used as copper 1 or copper 2, or they can be named as cuprous and cupric for lower and higher valency of copper. Similarly, we have studied about some transition elements also. So your work will be that you go through the periodic table once again, try to find where these elements are lying and try to remember the valencies as well as the concepts because they will be useful to you for studying the chemical reactions. Thank you very much. Bye till next class.